The European Union has highlighted its cooperative relations with Laos while marking the 66th anniversary of the European Union Foundation Day or Europe Day on May 9th. Speaking at a press conference in Vientiane on Friday, EU Chargé Michel Goffin said the EU has long enjoyed a close relationship and good cooperation with Laos. According to EU Chargé Michel Goffin, our relationship covers a multitude of areas and also includes political dialogue, development cooperation, trade, as well as a regular dialogue on human rights and good governance. Collaboration also takes place on the regional and international stage through fora such as Asean and ASEM.
I think we managed to improve the relations between the two countries, increase cooperation, but also increase political dialogue. I hope the European Union is now a full-fledged entity, more than just a donor agency, or even people think it's an NGO. It's more a diplomatic player, I think, in this country and in the region.
European development partners, the EU and its member states together are one of the first providers of development assistance in Laos, with more than €500 million or 4.5 trillion kip over the period of 2016-2020. According to the EU delegation in Vientiane, the funding provided by the EU to Laos through its bilateral cooperation over the period 2007-2013 amounted to more than €69 million. The current program period of 2014-2020 has witnessed a substantial increase of funds with a total amount of €207 million. This period was divided into two phases. Based on the strategic objectives of EU-Laos cooperation and a thorough analysis of its development priorities, the EU decided to support the implementation of the 7th National Socio-Economic Development Plan in 2014-2015. The allocation for this first phase is €45 million and focuses on 3 key sectors, including education, or €15 million or 33.3%. Sustainable agriculture and food and nutrition security, including the UXO sector, €24 million or 53.3%. Governance, rule of law and human rights, €12.2 million or 12.2%. And technical support, €0.5 million or 1%. The EU assistance for the second phase 2016-2020 would be aligned with the government's new development plan or 8th National Socio-Economic Development Plan and to align with member states in a fully fledged joint programming mode. In addition to the EU's bilateral assistance, Laos continues benefiting from many EU-specific thematic programs in the field of rural development, health, food and nutrition security, climate change, resilience and governance, and human rights, with a total assistance valued at almost €20 million. Laos is also eligible under regional programs, notably those implemented through ASEAN and the Mekong River Commission. Laos is also a regular recipient of the EU's humanitarian assistance for both response for natural disasters and disaster preparedness action.
Well, first of all, after 4.5 years here, I think it's a great country to work and to live in. But more seriously, Laos is really at the center of the Southeast Asian mainland with very important markets all around. Vietnam, Thailand, even Burma, Cambodia, but of course China. And so if you really want to be producing and exporting in the region, you may think seriously of coming to Laos because it's a good opportunity, and some companies have done so.
The outgoing EU Chargé Michel Goffin disclosed that he will end this term this summer and will leave a country with a new cabinet, a new National Assembly, a new judiciary, and even new constitution. This is very encouraging, and he is optimistic about the future of this country, with a population that will gradually reap the fruits of both economic growth and effective governance.
What I will remember from my stay here in Laos in the last few months and years are the very kindness of the people. You have, actually you should export that. You should package a little bit of tolerance and kindness and export that to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is in turmoil. There's a lot of violence outside in this world, and I think Laos has a fantastic comparative advantage. The people are tolerant. They are still attached to their traditions. They're smiling. They're very, very nice people to work with. So that's what, if you ask me, that's what I will remember from your country.
EU-Laos trade stood at 362 million euros for 2015, while the EU's trade deficit with Laos is 115 million euros. Textiles and clothing, coffee and sugar are three key exports to the EU market.